God is the one who actually created DNA. He created the seed, and it's so amazing. According to Genesis chapter 1, verse 12, it says, like verse 11, let the earth bring forth the grass, the herb that yields seed, and the fruit that yields fruit, according to its kind, whose seed is in itself on the earth, and it was so. And the earth brought forth grass, the herb that yields seed according to its kind, and the tree that yields fruit, whose seed is in itself according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. It's really amazing what God has created. And now science is beginning to catch up with that a little bit. They're discovering ways to actually store data inside of DNA. And now, according to wired.co.uk, a movie operating system and Amazon gift card have been stored in DNA. What's so amazing about this is that you have these people who are evolutionists and say that there is no God, that everything evolved all by itself. And yet we know that, operating systems, which take millions of man hours to create, do not happen by themselves. They are a definite, specific, purposeful work that people have put in a lot of energy and intelligence into, and they comprise a lot of technology. And yet, when it comes to DNA, somehow people have this idea that it could just happen. A couple of years ago, I went to University of California, Irvine, and I did a little informal poll with people. I took my cell phone up to them and I said, hey, do you think this thing could have evolved? They said, no, it's impossible. There's a lot of technology in there. And I said, what about our DNA? Do you think that evolved? Oh, yeah, that evolved. There's a real disconnect between what people think about man's technology. They're all impressed by it, and it's pretty cool stuff. But when it comes to God's technology, it seems that people are less impressed. Well, according to this article, these things have been stored inside of DNA. Data was converted to DNA using an algorithm before being perfectly retrieved. Again, all that proves is that DNA is an incredible system for storing information, which of course is exactly what it is. And it was created by a very intelligent being named God. As a society, we are creating more data than ever before, meaning that we're at the risk of running out of traditional storage. As a result, there is a race to create new ways to store our photos and files. Although the concept of storing such data on DNA isn't new, a pair of researchers from Columbia University and the New York Genome Center has now used the technique to store an operating system, movie, and other files on biological molecules. DNA has the potential to provide large capacity storage system. Yaniv Ehrlich and Dina Zielinski wrote in a new paper published in the Science Journal. Here we report a storage strategy called DNA Fountain that is highly robust and approaches the information capacity per nucleotide. The system was able to store files in oligonucleotides, DNA molecules, and was able to retrieve the DNA. In total, 6 files were encoded onto the DNA, an operating system, the film Arrival of a Train at La Quartat, and a $50 Amazon gift card, a virus, a Pioneer plaque, and a 1984 academic paper. Although the files were relatively small, totaling 2,146,816 bytes, the paper says the method used was able to store 60% more data on DNA than in previous circumstances. Using an algorithm dubbed DNA Fountain, the academics compressed these 6 files into a master document and then split the data into binary code. The strings of binary were packed into droplets and mapped onto the nucleotide DNA bases A, G, C, and T. A statement published alongside the work says the algorithm detected letter combinations that create errors and added a barcode to the droplets so they could be reassembled. In the research paper, the academics added that they have achieved a perfect decoding of the DNA and that within coming decades, DNA might become an economically viable solution for long-term high-latency storage. Overall, 72,000 DNA strands were created and startup Twist Bioscience converted the data. To retrieve it, the scientists used DNA sequencing techniques. The team also looked at the potential for the system. Finally, we the limit of our architecture in terms of bytes per molecule and obtained a perfect retrieval. The researchers $3,500 per megabyte. Well, again, all this underscores to say is, well, that's really cool. That's awesome that man is discovering such things. But who is the one who created this DNA system? Who's the one who first came up with data storage? Well, it's God himself. It's really interesting. There's new research coming up. Dr. Bruce Lipton is leading a lot of this in his book, Biology of Belief, and he shows that inside the nucleus of a cell is not the brain, but it's simply where you keep the blueprints, so to speak. In other words, it's the hard drive of the machine. It's not the brain of the machine. It's not the CPU, but it's where you store the data. And that is very interesting because inside that nucleus, it's not where the thinking or the activity is happening, but it's where you store the blueprints. When you need to make a new part of the cell, then parts of that cell go in there. They retrieve the master blueprint, for lack of a better word, and then they make a copy, and then it goes out and does its function in the cell. But again, it's DNA storage. God is the one who created that. It's impressive what is happening with these new types of storage, but ultimately, God is the one who deserves the credit. Hey, until next time, stay in the Word. I encourage you to subscribe, share this. We're trying to get up to 30,000 plus subscribers, so please help us do that. Till next time, God bless you.